Built in 1907, the Moore Theatre is the oldest active theatre in Seattle. The Moore played host to performers including the likes of Sarah Bernhardt and Marie Dressler. It also housed great music concerts, lectures, boxing events and even revival meetings. Currently operated by the Seattle Theatre Group, but the Moore Theatre Ghost may still be in charge. Real estate developer James A. Moore built the Moore Theatre along with designer E. Houghton. Mr. Moore's reputation was for being a flamboyant developer, and the theatre was no different. It had a hotel right next door that the performers stayed in and featured a health spa in the theatre's basement. The basement spa included an Olympic-sized swimming pool that piped in seawater from Puget Sound. Olympic champion and movie star Johnny Weissmuller was known to practice here. Just past the pool were small cubicles, each with a clawfoot tub. Though it is not clear what other services the spa offered, one could only imagine the socialites of the day relaxing and getting pampered. The Moore Theatre was first operated by John Court and was a successful operation throughout the 1930s. The 1940s saw the theatre fall on hard times. In the 50s and 60s it hosted boxing matches, road shows, travel shows, and special events. In 1975, Dan Ireland and Darrell McDonald took over the lease and the Moore Theatre became the Moore Egyptian. It was Dan and Darrell that saw the birth of the Seattle International Film Festival in 1976. In 1981, the Moore Theatre owners declined to renew the lease for the Egyptian and they moved, taking the Egyptian name with them. In 1994, the Seattle Landmark Association, later named the Seattle Theatre Group, leased the Moore Theatre and it still does so today. In 2013, the theatre closed for 2 months for renovation. They painted the lobby, upgrading the seats, improved the heating system and installed a curtain system that could transform the 1,800 seats to a more intimate 400-seat structure. The Moore Theatre has hosted many musicians and productions since 1980, including Soundgarden's Fop EP was recorded there in 1988, Alice in Chains' Live Facelift was filmed there in 1990, Pearl Jam's Even Flow video has video footage of a concert at the Moore Theatre in 1992. Wanda Sykes filmed her comedy special Sick and Tired there, and James Blunt held a concert there during his All the Lost Souls World Tour in 2008. The major claim of paranormal activity at the Moore Theatre is heavy breathing. Mostly staff hears this as if someone is standing behind them. The first known report of activity comes from Dan and Darrell in 1976, as they temporarily lived in the dressing rooms in the basement. They returned home one night and Dan went upstairs to turn off an amplifier when, in his words, "I didn't turn on the lights because I'd never been afraid of the dark, especially not in that theater. I got to the top of the stairs and all of a sudden I just stopped. I heard this sound, this sighing, breathing sound, and there was a bad smell, like urine." Dan asked who was there and scared, decided to run. He said, "I don't know what it was I ran through, but it was the most cold, tingling sensation I've ever felt. I locked myself in the booth and sat there for 45 minutes screaming for Darrell. I was hysterical and wouldn't leave the booth until Daryl came up. When he did, I was all white and shaking. I'd never had a supernatural experience until then. Other paranormal claims are hearing footsteps, both walking and running, and a door in the orchestra pit opening and closing. Although no claims of apparitions being seen, small items such as pens, cell phones and keys, if left unattended, are later found to be moved. Most say the Moore Theatre ghosts are a friendly bunch, just a little mischievous at times. If you have visited the Moore and experienced something there, please let us know in the comments below.